All right, guys. Happy Monday afternoon. Happy 3rd of July. Super excited to have you all on the call to go through another soft skills seminar. Today, I'm very excited to have on the line Miss Christine Dunaway, Market Director of the Northeast, who is currently in Ohio, which is helping out our good friends in Dublin. So very excited to have you on the line today, Christine. And you guys might remember a few weeks ago, we went through a topic about developing yourself. So kind of building off of that, we're going to go through developing people today. You guys know the drill. The recording has started for our friends who couldn't join us today. But without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic off to Miss Christine. Christine, how's it going in Ohio?
It is a wonderful 95% humidity out here, so no need for a curling iron. And thanks again, Mary, for asking me to share about developing people. It is a passion of mine, as most people, at least on this call, are aware of. It's something that I hold true to my career, but also to my heart as I talk to a lot of the managers across PF Chang's culture. So we'll go ahead and kick it off. Mary is taking lead on this, so hopefully we could dance well together through this slideshow. But I really want to talk to us about, us as developing people and as managers, we have many roles and we consider ourselves sometimes that operations manager more than we do the people manager. But it's important to realize that coaching and developing people is not about being a people-oriented manager. It's about being a well-rounded leader. You must view people development as a key responsibility. It's almost as important, if not as important, as line checks or food costs or hiring and putting together schedules. Leaders who take an interest in the careers of employees have highly motivated and productive teams. They understand that one size doesn't fit all when it comes to development, and that coaching must be tailored to each individual with specific learning styles and backgrounds in mind. Take the time to learn what motivates your employees through activity listening, observing behaviors, and understanding aspirations. That's really important for us as leaders, is to understand that this isn't a black and white way to develop one person. The way that I develop, we'll just say Sprite because he's on the call, versus the way that I would develop Giovanni, who's an AOP in Linwood, are two completely different ways. What motivates them is completely different. The way that they communicate is completely different. So it's really about giving that constructive feedback and having that active listening, providing the recognition and teaching a new skill. Take a minute to adjust your message to fit the individual. Learn to recognize teachable moments, unplanned opportunities to help connect an experience to a new concept or skill. Teachable moments are spontaneous. They can't be something that, it's like working in the restaurant industry. We all know we have to unlock the doors and we all know we have to put out the drawers. And we all know that we have to do the line check and we have to take the checkouts and do all of the skills that we've been taught to do. But this is so much more than that, where we're not going to get a script of when we're going to be influencing the development part of our people. It just happens naturally. It's about us making sure that we take those spontaneous moments. Can you go to the next slide, Mary? So providing feedback is very important. One of the most important and impactful ways to develop your people is to provide feedback. Feedback should be provided regularly and be based on work-related behaviors, actions, statements, and results. This type of feedback is called behavioral feedback. Effective feedback can assist the employee to sustain good performance, develop new skills, and improve performance when necessary. One of the important ones is objective, unbiased, and based on your observation of the team member, what they did well, what needs to be improved on. Immediate, provide immediate following a task, allowing a team member to ask questions and ensuring he or she does not walk away with incorrect information. Specific, instead of saying that was great or that needs to be worked on, give them detailed explanations of exactly which part of the task was done well or needs to be improved on. And this is that part where we always add the whys, why it needs to be done. Allow two-way dialogue. Before providing your feedback, ask the team member to share feedback about his or her performance while you listen. This opens the door to two-way conversations. The team member should always have an opportunity to ask questions and to give you answers. One of Sprite's favorite things about me is I would always walk up to him and say, "Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why you're looking at it this way? Or can you show me what you're doing?" Because the minute that I get their perspective, it's easier for me to be able to redirect their thinking, or maybe they're showing me a way that I need to add to my toolbox. Encouraging and positive. Even when delivering feedback about what needs to be improved, remaining upbeat and positive will always help the team member from becoming discouraged. They should walk away from the conversation feeling encouraged, feeling like they're a part of the situation. After describing your observation to the employee, ask for their input before deciding what behavior means. For example, the employee may have a valid reason for being late, and it's not merely being irresponsible. So some of the things that we would ask is, "I'd like to talk with you about the reasons for your late arrival." Discuss the impact of the performance or consequences, but never make threats or promises. When an employee understands the impact of their performance, they will know why it's important. As a result, other employees have performed your work duties in your absence, using those triggers and making sure that we're actually talking to them. Because great job is not enough. Telling people that they are doing a great job does not build loyalty because it isn't specific enough. Praise can help you coach, develop, and retain your top employees, but only if it is detailed and relevant. You need to make sure that you're always adding, and I always say this, like, we have a toolkit. What are we adding to that toolkit? And we have a lot of toolkits that we could hand out, right? Here are some of the top 10 that we've come up with. And I always use it by example, right? You really made a difference by helping me run that food. I'm really impressed with the way that you did that greet. One of the things I enjoy the most about you is that you're always willing to stay a little bit later if we're busy. You got my attention when you automatically open the door for the guest. You're doing top quality work on making that mojito by spec. You're right on the mark with the direction you're going in regards to X, Y, and Z. You can be proud of yourself for. My favorite is, we can't have done it without your help. I think that's huge, especially in the development thing. Like, I could not have done that without you taking, that position or doing that action. What an effective way to, and that goes back to, can you tell me the why? Can you tell me what you're looking at? Can you tell me what you're seeing? And then when I notice that they're doing it in a more effective way, it's like, what an effective way to do whatever action they're doing. And then I really love this one too. Number 10 is, you've made my day because of X, Y, and Z, whatever those actions are. Putting away the liquor order without being asked, doing those small actions that every day we walk by something and it's getting them to think about it before we ask them to do it, is the huge thing about these top 10 things with developing people. Oh, but what about the problem employees? Most managers have them. These employees may not work to their full potentials, and as managers, don't give up on them. Here are the 3 tactics that may help. Stack the deck in their favor. Many unproductive employees simply lack self-confidence. They don't try hard because they are afraid to fail. One thing that I've noticed is that not only do they not try hard because they're afraid to fail, but they don't try hard because they don't know. And they don't know what they don't know. And then I have to step back a little bit and create that environment that, one, is safe for them to learn without judgment. They either don't ask because they're afraid that we are, going to sit back and judge them for not knowing. They don't ask because they don't know what our response is going to be. One thing that I notice a lot is they don't ask because maybe the people that they're asking shut down and they don't feel like that active listening is taking place. So making sure that we create that right environment, surround the employees with those positive and productive coworkers first. Sometimes being on the right team can bring out his or her best. Study the team's dynamic. Your restaurant and position and is for the employee's success. Separate the behavior from the employee. Ask yourself, has the employee always acted this way, or is this behavior something new? There may be a personal problem. It's not uncommon that talented employees have life on life's terms outside of work, and then they don't know how to separate it from the back door. Are we asking those employees, is there something that we're missing? Are you having those sit down conversations with them to make sure that there's not roadblocks between them and being successful on the other side? Being as understanding and supportive as possible, your patients can pay off with increased commitment and loyalty. Mary, is there somebody unmuted on the line? All right, next slide. So who was your mentor? You know, for me, I've had a lot of mentors throughout my career. I've had one consistent one for the last 18 years of my career. It's somebody that I look up to with respect. A mentor is someone that gives me one step further. They're defined as a wise, trusted counselor or teacher. A mentor commits time, energy, and development to another with little or no return on the investment other than the pleasure they receive by watching another grow. You know, making sure that we're always being transparent with somebody that we trust, that we know that can sit back and give us constructive feedback, and we will listen to it. You know, development is not only for the people that we work side by side, but it's also development for myself, you know, and making sure that we understand that we feel 100% safe with them. You know, I think that we can sit back and all throughout all of our careers that are on this line, look at somebody that has deeply impacted. You know, what was their personality like? What did you learn? Are you still reaching out to them? We may not talk all the time, but there are times where I think it's important that we network and we pick up the phone and call them when we hit that roadblock, because they've probably been there and they probably have the ability to help develop us past that wall that we're hitting. Next slide, Mary. This is my favorite because I live in Washington State, not in the Northeast, like she said, but it's also helpful to take a hike when we're dealing with those people that we're trying to develop, even the ones that may be the problem employees that we're calling them. You know, when having a developmental conversation, it's helpful to get outside the restaurant, outside of our usual environment. Sitting across from somebody in an empty booth may be convenient, but it's not necessarily the best environment for dialogue. So let's try this, right? Set that 10 minutes aside. Ask the person to go for a walk with you around the building or somewhere nearby. Start the conversation with questions about the developmental issue you wish to discuss. Listen closely to what is being said. Offer your thoughts to enhance, but not control the conversation, and ask questions that show a real interest in what is being said by the individual. And the big one is exercise. At the end of the walk, summarize, or the end of the conversation, summarize what you heard by using your active listening skills, and reinforce your developmental message. Check for understanding and thank the person for his or her time. This slide for me also, I use it a lot where I used it earlier. I am in Dublin, Ohio right now. I am assisting people, and I sat down with an assistant executive chef and I said, okay, so you have questions, and this is something that's just very simple about onboarding. Perfect. I'm going to log into my laptop and I'm going to give you control, and we're going to walk through this together, and giving them the time to learn it. And then at the end, summarizing what they learned. You know, I don't know how people learn, but I do know that if I do those simple steps and take those times and thank them and ask them if they have any other questions, that they feel like they're being impacted in a different way than me just handing them a piece of paper or that was a great talk. We'll circle back around about that. I hope you figured it out by my 5-minute speech, even though I didn't touch anything or show you anything, or, you know, I didn't give you the ability to be hands-on with it. So really making sure that that I adjust the way that I deliver this 10 minutes that I set aside for an individual in their development. Tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I'll understand. You know, that goes back to that diagram that we all have seen in all of our training materials, right? I tell I do, I tell you do, you tell you do, and then you all of a sudden have the ability to train other people and develop other people because now you have it in your arsenal of toolkit that you have. And this is my favorite, William Glasser. We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we discuss, 80% of what we experience, and 95% of what we teach others, which tells me that this phone call, this seminar that we're doing, you may retain 20% of everything that was done until you take it out there and you make it something that's heartwarming for you, the experience for you, right? So making sure that what we learn, we take out, or else we lose it. And I was taught that really early on in my career. I could sit there and I could go through training class, right? And I don't know what everybody's position is, and that's on this call right now. So I'll just say, we're going to go in and we're going to be the best dishwashers that we can be. And we're going to learn everything about that dish room. And we're going to put on the aprons and we're going to have the gloves and we're going to, know all of the steps. And then after those 3 days, 4 days, 5 days of training, the trainer goes away and I stop repeating the action that was given to me because I was just watching or I was just listening, but I wasn't actually experiencing it. But then on top of it, I wasn't teaching anybody else either. So I was never handed the book to be the trainer on the next opportunity. And then all of a sudden, those things start decreasing a little bit. So always reminding myself that my toolkit gets stronger and the experiences that I have get stronger the more that I talk about it and the more repetition I have with the people around me that I'm teaching. And then it makes a stronger foundation at the end. In a nutshell, really, coaching is a powerful form of training and development. So the best way to retain information is through discussion, experience, and opportunity to teach others. How can you incorporate this into learning for your team? Next slide, Mary. So in a nutshell, are there any questions at all about any of this? I do want to hit a little bit on coaching as a powerful form of training and development. Whether it's teaching a new skill or modifying an unproductive behavior, the manager is a good coach can often get the best out of his or her people. Good coaches know that there is a time to be directive and tell others what to do, and time to be the facilitator and guide others through the learning process. Each style is completely different. And I have to remember that the more hands-on and the more I'm doing for you, the less you'll be able to do for yourself. So remembering that balance. And I did read a fascinating quote that I want to share with everybody today is a boss has a title, a leader has the people. And that kind of ties into this part of like developing the people is that a leader has the people, which means that they're developing, strengthening their base, and knowing that the stronger that I make the team below me or around me or even above me, the stronger that I become and the more successful on the other end, I guess you could say, at least for me, like emotionally, that's where I gain my success from. So any questions at all? I've had a lot of iced tea and coffee, so I apologize, everybody. I would sing to you, but I'm not a singer.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't tempt us with a good time, Christine. All right. Well, thank you so much, Christine, for taking us through developing others. Truly a lot of great takeaways from this presentation, but I know a lot of my favorite slides from this one were the same as yours, especially the one where we talked about, retaining information and how the information is best retained when you have a chance to experience it, discuss it, and teach it to others. And so our challenge for you today is to take away some sort of information and teach it to someone else so that, not only will that person learn, but you'll retain the information better yourself. And then how can you apply that in other aspects of your work and your life? But thank you guys as always for part of your Monday afternoon. I hope everyone has a wonderful 4th of July tomorrow. Christine, thank you so much for walking us through developing people, but otherwise, I look forward to talking to you all again here soon. Everyone have a great rest of your Monday.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Bye, Christine. I miss you.